Hello everybody, it's Fervor for Faith again, and I wanted to put out a quick video to talk about this Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect has blown up on YouTube and on the internet recently. I'm getting a lot of comments on videos now asking about the Mandela Effect, trying to prove the Mandela Effect, and all these different things. A lot of different brothers here on YouTube have made a lot of different videos about the Mandela Effect. Some people say one thing, other people say another thing. Everybody's going about it in a different way. I just wanted to do a quick little video to kind of explain what the Mandela Effect is, what my stance on it is, and what I believe your stance should be on it as well. So to start out, we have to go to the beginning of the Mandela Effect. What is the Mandela Effect, and how did it start? Well, to understand what the Mandela Effect is and how it started, we have to go to the founder of the Mandela Effect, the person who first proposed this idea, and that person's name is Fiona Broome. Now, Fiona Broome is an author and a paranormal investigator. She has written books about the paranormal. She goes ghost hunting and these types of things. So she's definitely not like a Christian type of woman. She's not even a conspiracy theorist in the traditional sense, and we're going to go into that in just a second. So Fiona Broome is the creator of what is called the Mandela Effect. She's the first one to propose this theory. Now, the Fiona Broome version of the Mandela Effect theory states that there are parallel alternate realities that, quote, bleed over into ours without us ever realizing it. And these false memories that you get when talking about the Mandela Effect, that is another reality bleeding over into our reality. So you see, it gets a little weird with how they say it. But that's the original version of the Mandela Effect theory, as it is the one that is espoused and put forward by the founder of the Mandela Effect theory, Fiona Broome. She doesn't even think of this as a conspiracy theory at all. She just thinks of it as a paranormal experience, something paranormal that happens in our lives. So she's not going about it in a conspiracy type of way. So that's who started the Mandela Effect, and that is what the Mandela Effect is in a nutshell if we go to what the original version of it is. So that is very different from this CERN fallen angelic technology theory that has made the rounds in Christian YouTube circles recently. The one that obviously I'm referring to here in this video. That is a very different theory from what the Mandela Effect really started as and what many people still consider it. This CERN fallen angelic technology Mandela Effect theory is a really new invention. It's kind of weird, and we're going to see why in this video. So people have kind of taken it and turned it into that. And to top it all off, now people are beginning to question whether the Bible has been changed. The literal Bible that you hold in your hands. They're saying it's been changed. This, to me, is absolutely incredible. This is unbelievable that people are saying this. And it disappoints me a lot. It disappoints me greatly. I can't believe that this is actually happening, that we're actually using this weird science fiction theory to kind of start wondering if we should even be reading our Bibles or something like that. It's weird, very weird. I'm not going to go into a long dissertation on the Mandela Effect and why you can trust your Bible, why it hasn't been changed. I'm not going to do that. There are other brothers here on YouTube that have done that. They've already made this type of video. This is just a quick video about the Mandela Effect and what I think of it. Honestly, I'm not quite sure where the connection to CERN comes from. I'm really not sure, because it's not in the original theory, and Fiona Broome's own testimony proves that CERN couldn't have anything to do with the Mandela Effect. So even if you believe in the Mandela Effect, it couldn't have been started by the CERN particle collider. Because, again, according to Fiona Broome, this has been going on for many years, long before the CERN Particle Collider became operational in 2009. So I want to read for you a short excerpt from her MandelaEffect.com website. This is from the original article that she published on this website, talking about the Mandela Effect. Nelson Mandela died in prison long before his loss on December 5, 2013. Many people, perhaps thousands, seem to believe that. That's where the title of this website, The Mandela Effect, came from. See, I thought Nelson Mandela died in prison. I thought I remembered it clearly, complete with news clips of his funeral, the mourning in South Africa, some rioting in cities, and the heartfelt speech by his widow. Then I found out he was still alive. My reaction was sensible. Oh, I must have misunderstood something on the news. I didn't think about it again for many years, until, in the VIP suite at DragonCon, a member of security, quote, Shadow, casually mentioned that many people remember when Nelson Mandela died in prison. Now, the DragonCon that she's referring to in this article is the one that took place in 2010, and we know that because she mentions it again later in the same article. It's the 2010 DragonCon. So if she admits to having these types of false memories several years before 2010, that would put it way before the CERN Particle Collider began operation. So that would mean that the CERN Particle Collider has absolutely nothing to do with this supposed Mandela Effect. And personally, I believe that the Mandela Effect is nothing but misremembering facts. We are imperfect beings. Our minds can do that sometimes, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But we have to start asking ourselves a few questions, and I think that these questions are worth contemplating, because if CERN has nothing to do with the Mandela Effect, well, then that kind of shoots the whole theory in the foot, right? I mean, we're constantly talking about CERN and the particle collider and doing all kinds of satanic rituals and all that stuff in this European particle collider, and that's creating the Mandela Effect. But if it's been happening before that, well, then CERN doesn't really have anything to do with it. So let's go ahead and let's ask ourselves some questions. Wouldn't the people who actually wrote or directed or filmed or acted in these movies, books, TV shows, etc., wouldn't they remember what they wrote or did more so than anyone else? I mean, if it was changed, wouldn't they, of all people, retain those, quote, lost memories? How come you don't see Kevin Costner saying, well, wait a minute, I remember the quote as, if you build it, they will come? Why is it all of a sudden, if you build it, he will come? Why isn't the director of Field of Dreams coming out and saying that? It's just silly. Why is it that only internet conspiracy theorists seem to realize that these things were changed? Why not the people who actually, did these things or wrote these things? It doesn't make any sense. And these next two questions are specifically referring to the people who say that the CERN Particle Collider has changed the King James Bible. So here's a couple questions for you. Did the CERN Particle Collider change the Masoretic Hebrew and the Textus Receptus? Or did it just change the King James Bible? If it only changed the King James Bible, why does it only seem to change things in English? I haven't heard of anything being changed in like Russian or Hindi or Swahili or Greek or Hebrew. I only hear about things being changed in English. Could it be because the proponents of this theory all speak English? They don't speak any other language. They only speak English, it seems. So maybe that's why only things in English seem to be being changed. And here's the next question. Why are there supposedly relics of this past reality? For example, someone on one of my videos posted in the comment section and linked me to a supposed page from an original 1611 King James Bible that had, quote, the correct word in a particular passage, whereas in the modern King James Bible, it's different. Therefore, CERN changed the Bible. Why was that not taken out of existence by the new reality? I mean, if CERN is able to go and change reality, can't they get rid of the evidence? I mean, come on. That's a little silly, don't you think? Also, there are videos on YouTube that quote, prove things were changed by showing pictures of articles that reference the Berenstain Bears instead of the Berenstain Bears. The question remains, why do these things still exist if the reality has literally shifted, or if CERN literally changed reality? It doesn't make any sense why these things would exist. There is a very logical reason why these things exist. So either there was some kind of a misunderstanding, somebody thought it was the King James Bible because of the Old English, the these and the thous, or, and I hope this isn't the case, but I'm not going to put it past anybody to do this, or someone maliciously misrepresented the page as being from the 1611 King James Bible. Now, I hope that it's the former, but I'm not going to hold my breath if it's the latter. Now, with regards to misspellings like Berenstain instead of Berenstain, this is very easy to explain. It's a matter of our minds tricking us. Our minds play tricks on us sometimes. Like how you can, when it's dark, sometimes you think you hear things that you don't really hear. Those kinds of things. Some things just sound better and look better to our minds than other things. So our minds will try to fix these, quote, mistakes, these supposed mistakes that it sees. It'll try to fix them in our minds. And so we'll say Berenstain instead of Berenstain, and write Berenstain instead of Berenstain, because Berenstain just looks better to our mind. And I have a great example of this in my life personally. At my job, I work with somebody who has the last name Beery. 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 Now, people are constantly misspelling it as Berry. Berry. Instead of saying Beery, they say Berry. Instead of writing Beery, they write Berry. These kinds of things happen. This isn't, proof of an alternate reality. Oh, in an alternate reality that's bleeding into our current reality, this person really, their last name is actually Barry in this reality. And it's silly. It's nonsensical. Where do you come up with this? I mean, this is not even logical. God gave us brains. We should use them. I hate to sound harsh, but think of things logically and rationally for a minute. It has nothing to do with an alternate reality bleeding into our reality. It has nothing to do with CERN changing reality, going back in time. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a mistake that we make sometimes. Our minds make mistakes. Like I said, we're fallible human beings. We make mistakes. And so I'll leave you with this one last example, and I will give credit to Brother Brian Moonen for this example. He used it in his video about the Mandela Effect. I'm going to kind of change it a little bit, just a little bit, to I think better illustrate the point I'm trying to make. So I give credit to Brian Moonen for that. So here we go. Let's say that you drive to the store and you park your car somewhere in the parking lot. You go into the store, you get the things you need, and you come out. And when you come back out of the store, you think you had parked your car in one spot, but in reality it turns out you parked somewhere else. But get this, you were certain that you had parked in that one spot, but it's not in that spot, it's in a different spot. the question that you have to ask is that proof that the Mandela effect exists? That in an alternate reality somewhere, you parked your car in the first spot, the spot that you thought, and that you still have that memory. That is a proof that it has bled over into our reality. Is that what that is, or is that you just misremembering where you parked your car? How many times have people done this? Or if we want to get a little more crazy, CERN teleported your car, or went back in time and teleported your car to a different spot. I mean, like I said, it's silly, and I can't believe that we're talking about this. This is one of the silliest conspiracy theories I have ever heard in my life. But we're talking about it. So please, everybody, do not buy into the Mandela Effect. This is a silly conspiracy theory that was created by a paranormal author who doesn't even view it as a conspiracy theory. It was created by this paranormal author, and it relies on misspellings and misquotations to, quote, prove its existence. And it's all in the media. Things that you probably hear and you misquote it later. How many times has this happened before? It happens all the time. And we're using this as proof that CERN has changed reality and changed the Bible. And again, very, very silly theory. Do not buy into the Mandela Effect. It did not change the Bible. I won't even give that the time of day, so please do not bother posting that in my comment section. I will not give it the time of day. It is a silly argument. It is a silly theory that is easily debunked just by going back and seeing who created it and what it's really saying. Thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you. And if you've been considering the Mandela Effect, I hope that I've helped you to see just the silliness and ridiculousness and the sheer amount of irrationality that is bound up in this Mandela Effect theory.